Toolbox Talks, Safety Signs and Barricades. Safety signs. What is the purpose of accident prevention signs? It is to warn us of a potential danger or hazard. They need to be easy to read and to the point. They need to contain sufficient information. And they need to be accurate in fact. The color of the sign also has a specific meaning. We will be discussing the signs that are red, yellow, orange, blue, and green. Starting with red. Red is used on any safety signs, labels, or other objects to signify danger. It is also to alert people that they need to stop or that there is an immediate danger. Common types of red signs are danger, fire protection equipment, stop, and anything else there is a high risk of injury or death. Next is yellow. Yellow signs are present to warn you to take care, warn you to look at something, and warn you to take precautions. Common types of yellow signs are caution signs. Next is orange. The color orange is used to alert people to the fact that there are dangerous parts of a machine or equipment. Orange signs are used as warning signs. Warning signs represent a hazard level between caution and danger. Warning indicates a hazardous situation, which if not avoided, could result in death or serious injury. Next is blue. Blue signs provide people with information which is mandatory to follow. Common types of these signs are notice signs as shown. Unlike previous signs, the notice signs, for example, do not indicate a hazard, but rather actions that are required to prevent risk or hazards. And finally, green. The color green is usually used for safety signs. Common types of these signs that provide information are exit routes, assembly points, shelter locations, locations of first aid, and eye wash stations. Remember, green means safety. Barricade tape. In some cases, a hazard may exist that requires us to install a temporary barrier or barricade to keep people safe and isolated from a hazard. In these cases, we will utilize barricade tape, accompanied with a barricade tag. There are two different types of barricades that will be utilized at Wausau Supply Company. First, a caution barricade tape. This tape is yellow in color. It indicates a minor hazard situation where a non-immediate potential hazard or unsafe practice presents a lesser threat of employee injury. Examples include, there is a small hole in the floor, or there is a trip hazard. Maybe someone is working from a ladder inside a doorway in an office. Sometimes when equipment is being installed, or there is low overhead where someone could hit their head. The second is danger barricade tape. This tape is red in color. It indicates an immediate hazard that presents a threat of death or serious bodily injury. Examples of using this may include, there is an open electrical box where a qualified individual is working on live electricity or a faulty light. In addition to barricade tape, a barricade tag is needed to identify important information pertaining to a hazard within the barricade. Anytime barricade tape is placed, the barricade tag must be hung on the tape in a place that is readily accessible and viewable to anyone working in the area or passing by. In addition, other requirements of the barricade tag include name of the person installing the barricade tape and tag, date the barricade was placed, how to contact the person installing the barricade, what the hazard is within the barricade, if any, what acceptable practices must be observed to enter the barricade area, or a statement such as, do not enter without lockout tagout. All writing on the barricade tag must be legible and written with a marker or similar item which will not easily wash or rub off. Additional requirements include all barricades must be sufficient and substantial enough to withstand wind, and it must be at a height which is easily viewable. Reasonable attempts should be made to keep the barricade tape at a height of 36 to 42 inches above the ground. For longer spans, additional supports may be necessary. The person responsible for placing the barricade is responsible for moving it once the hazard is eliminated. Tampering with or unauthorized removal of the barricade or any other safety signs are strictly forbidden. If a barricade becomes long-term, alternative items such as a rope or chain may be used. Ropes and chains should still match the hazard by color, using yellow for caution and red for danger. How to work safely around a barricade. A caution barricade. Read the posted barricade tag and observe all precautions identified on the tag. A danger barricade. The individual must be immediately involved in the work which requires the barrier. They must be fully aware of the hazards within. We must observe all precautions identified on the tag. Note, in some and many cases, a danger barricade may require an employee to lock equipment out prior to entry, or it may indicate that no entry is permitted until certain parameters are met. In closing, safety signs throughout the organization indicate specific hazards or required actions. Red means danger, stop, or high risk. Yellow means caution, take precautions, and look at something. Orange means warning, physical hazards exist, and a moderate risk. Blue means notice, and mandatory actions. And green means safety. Safety barricades are used to inform and isolate people from a temporary hazard. Danger warns of high risk, no entry, and prescriptive requirements needed, while caution warns of low risk and notification of a lower risk. So in review, what color indicates the highest risk of injury? A, blue, B, green, C, red, or D, yellow? C, red. Red is used to indicate high risk of injury or even death. True or false? Barricade tape alone is sufficient to identify and surround an identified risk or hazard. False. In addition to the correct type of barricade tape, a barricade tag must be attached and viewable, which communicates the hazards and precautionary actions necessary to enter the barricade. Remember that many potential injuries can be prevented by taking the appropriate precautions and making sure we are following the company instructions in regard to using and acknowledging safety signs and barricades.